Remarkably, 5-story and 3-story pagodas have never collapsed during an earthquake. Chuson-ji Temple. At this temple, which has ties to Takeda Shingen, there was a master carpenter named Miyazaki Tadanao who spent 12 years constructing a 5-story pagoda. He was in pursuit of the answer to the question, why do 5-story pagodas not collapse? Miyazaki believed that the origin of the 5-story pagoda lay in the pagoda at Horyu-ji Temple. He wanted to deeply understand the essence of the 5-story pagoda as a craftsman, and aspired to build one himself. This desire might have been akin to the feelings of a painter recreating a masterpiece that moved them. Miyazaki decided to bring this vision to life by building a 1/5 scale model of Horyu-ji's 5-story pagoda. To construct Horyu-ji's 5-story pagoda was to gain a profound understanding of what a 5-story pagoda truly is. First, pillars are erected on top of dowels. The materials vertically supporting the 5-story pagoda consist of only 12 side pillars and 4 central support pillars. These pillars are fixed within a frame known as the base ring, daiwa. On top of the base ring, a structure called the gotenyo is placed. The parts built atop the pillars to support the eaves are called brackets, kumimono. Brackets are always assembled in a cross shape. Therefore, the wood grain also intersects in a cross pattern. Above that, horizontal members are assembled. Each piece fits together perfectly, without even the slightest deviation. Yet, it doesn't appear forced or overly tight. With just 2 or 3 mallet strikes, the pieces settle snugly. Once assembled, the materials don't budge, exhibiting extreme precision, but they aren't without flexibility. No parts are fixed with metal fittings or nails. Everything is designed to allow movement. Thus, during an earthquake, the structure moves, but the intersecting and diagonal beams work to restore it to its original state. When the 12 side pillars and 4 central support pillars sway during an earthquake, the brackets atop the pillars absorb the movement, and the resulting rebound force restores stability. This mechanism also prevents the sway from being directly transmitted to the upper levels, allowing the force to dissipate gradually. A precise yet flexible wooden structure, the 5-story pagoda, is tall yet resistant to earthquakes. Miyazaki explains it succinctly. If the structure has a small footprint but rises tall, how can we prevent it from collapsing? The pillars aren't anchored below with anything like an anchor bolt. They're simply placed as if on rubber. The challenge is how to ensure they don't fall over. As long as everything is properly assembled, the structure sways but returns to its original position after moving. The horizontal components are assembled precisely so that even if they sway, they return to their original state. If the assembly is loose, it won't work well. But if everything is fitted properly, it holds securely. While the entire structure sways, the individual parts return to their initial positions even after moving. Assembly of the roof components begins. The brackets supporting the tiled roof are interlocked in a way that also allows for calculated movement. The roof's weight is borne by ridge beams fitted into dowels on top of the brackets. Except for the central pillar, no long timber is joined. Each piece is a single, continuous material for maximum strength. The assembly of the components to support the roof tiles begins. The technique that imparts strength and flexibility to the five-storied pagoda of Horyu-ji is inseparable from the craftsmanship that shapes its beauty. A remnant of Japan's ancient thatch roof tradition is found in the kawa-oi. It appears curved, but it is carved from a single straight piece of wood to match the roof's curve. The artisans who built Horyu-ji are said to have begun construction without blueprints, completing the structure nonetheless. Such a feat would be unthinkable today. How was Horyu-ji's five-story pagoda constructed? Upon close examination, it becomes clear that such a structure could only be realized with advanced architectural techniques. By building a model of Horyu-ji's five-story pagoda, Miyazaki gained an understanding of the Asuka era's craftsmanship, the wisdom of the time, and the aesthetic sense of the people of Asuka. Japan's largest five-story pagoda, the five-story pagoda of its time. Traces show where the tower's central pillar, Sein Bashira, sank into the structure. The shortening of the central pillar caused a decorative painting on the first floor's central pillar to shift downward. However, simply shortening the central pillar did not solve the issue entirely. Could the contraction of the tower's body, toshin, and the central pillar be synchronized? A method was devised to detach the central pillar from the ground and integrate it with the tower body. In this way, as the tower body contracts, the central pillar also descends. During the Kamakura period, some began erecting the central pillar above the second-floor ceiling. This gradually became the norm, leading to the disappearance of the central pillar on the first floor. However, there may have been another reason for this change. The five-story pagoda primarily served as a decorative structure with no practical function. Yet there was still a desire to place a statue of the Buddha inside the pagoda. Moreover, people wanted to freely enter and exit the structure. Thus, the Buddha statue was placed on the first floor, and the central pillar was moved to the second-floor ceiling. This design was also used in the five-story pagoda constructed by Miyazaki Tadanao at Chuson-ji Temple. However, even though the central pillar descended alongside the contraction of the tower body, slight discrepancies inevitably arose. To address this, wedges were placed beneath the central pillar, which could be adjusted or removed to correct the misalignment between the tower body and the central pillar. The world of Japanese ornamental beauty is at its pinnacle. The construction method of the central pillar in this five-story pagoda also reflects an ultimate refinement. The central pillar was suspended from the fourth level using chains. Naturally, suspending it like this caused it to sway like a pendulum. To stabilize this, a hole was made in the base of the structure, through which a guide mechanism was passed to dampen the movement. A truly ingenious method. Meanwhile, the five-story pagoda of Nikko stands out for its extraordinary ornamentation. Although Nikko Toshogu Shrine is now a Shinto shrine, during the Edo period it embodied the syncretism of Shinto and Buddhism. A statue of Buddha was placed on the first floor. The pillars, beams, and ceilings were all adorned with dazzling, brilliantly colorful decorations. However, the essence of the five-story pagoda has remained unchanged for over 1,300 years. The five-tiered tower body, the central pillar running through its core, the finial at its summit, and the fact that it has never once collapsed. Its origin always traces back to the five-story pagoda at Horyu-ji Temple. Using the model of Horyu-ji's five-story pagoda built by Miyazaki Tadanao, vibration experiments were to be conducted. Each tier of Horyu-ji's five-story pagoda is connected only by dowels. While not replicating the actual construction sequence, the assembly of the model brought to the experimental site made the structure of the five-story pagoda even clearer. Even as a model, its appearance has been described as a masterpiece of five-story pagoda architecture. In December 2004, modern science turned its focus to discovering why five-story pagodas are so resistant to earthquakes. Instead of roof tiles, weights were placed on the roof, and numerous small plates were attached for testing. The experiment simulated the severe shaking of a magnitude 6+ earthquake, similar to the 2004 Niigata Chuetsu earthquake and the 1995 Huogo earthquake. Three, two, one, launch start. People witnessed how the 5-story pagoda swayed during a magnitude 6 earthquake. Launch start. This is a simulation of the 5-story pagoda being shaken with the intensity of the 2004 Niigata Chuetsu earthquake, observed in Oyua City with a seismic intensity of 6+. Shown here at 1/5 of the original speed. Each tier moves slightly out of sync, rather than in the same direction. When magnified, it becomes clearer that the levels move with subtle shifts. The misaligned motions become even more apparent. This is overlaid with a cross-sectional view. The movement of the central pillar, Shinbashira, is smaller compared to the tower body and sometimes swings in the opposite direction. The motion of the central axis of the 5-story pagoda was then magnified 5-fold for closer observation. The movement increases as it ascends, but the direction of motion near the base sometimes reverses, ensuring that the tower does not tilt drastically in one direction. Although it was a model, the 5-story pagoda of Horyu-ji did not collapse, even under a seismic intensity 6+. What does this experiment mean, and what can be concluded from the results? Professor Sakamoto, who led the vibration experiment, was asked about this. This is what we call traditional construction methods. And traditional methods are products of the wisdom of master carpenters. They were created independently of modern tools like computers and calculations. In a way, unraveling the mystery of these Japanese traditional methods. Why does the 5-story pagoda withstand a seismic intensity of 6+? Is an attempt to explain it using modern science. Or more specifically, seismic engineering. Applying contemporary approaches to unlock this puzzle. This experiment was essentially our first attempt to see how it would behave when shaken. We were very excited to conduct it. And we managed to collect a wealth of data. Moving forward, we plan to continue unraveling these mysteries. But in some ways, the mystery has deepened further. Is it only because it has withstood earthquakes that the 5-story pagoda has endured to this day? Horyu-ji Temple's pagoda was damaged by a typhoon that toppled nearby trees. But it was quickly restored to its original form. While it's undoubtedly a religious structure, it transcends that role, blending into the scenery and harmonizing with Japan's natural and cultural environment. The five-story wooden pagoda, a traditional Japanese high-rise architecture developed and passed down by Daiku, master carpenters, continues to inspire modern society, providing fresh stimulation across various fields of architectural technology. Why doesn't the five-story pagoda collapse? The five-story pagoda of Horyu-ji Temple, built 1,300 years ago, now stands illuminated by a new era,